Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what's a name that seemingly disappeared from the web overnight? Arctomum. I can picture a clickbait link saying, "You'll never guess what Arctomum's kids look like now." I saw something on the news about Arctomum's kids a few years ago. They all seem genuinely happy and loved. Connie. Someone spray painted Connie 2012 at the local park like 2 weeks ago. Someone out there remembers. I don my coat and overalls. I paint his name upon the walls. For I've a thought I cannot shelve. I call it Connie 2012. Everyone was dead set on stopping this guy, and then the Hunger Games came out and no one cared anymore. Slacktivism accomplishes very little. The internet historian also made a video about it that narrates it in great detail. I swear that fucker has done invaluable efforts to preserve internet history. Truly a legend. Epic meal time. The fact that Muscles Glasses is now a vegan is the most shocking character development of all times. What the fuck? That's crazier than Steve-O's character twist. T was years ago at this point, but I recall one of the main guys being on a podcast, H3 I think, where he mentioned that they shifted their focus to Facebook because it became more difficult to earn money on YouTube. They just started editing old episodes to make them super short with text overlays to explain what was happening, so it was way easier to digest. They would upload those shorter clips to their Facebook page for followers to see, and it started making more money than the YouTube channel ever did. I remember this as well. They had a few really huge YouTube videos and started escalating their meals, but very quickly ran out of new ideas. After a couple years their videos just felt really forced and honestly a little sad. I still see one every once in a while and it seems like they just don't care anymore. Makes sense though, those videos were very appropriate for the time period they were released, and they have so many views that it assume those guys are set for life. Editing their best content for Facebook was probably the best transition for their type of content. That Aflooza kid who killed a few people, got off and then fled to Mexico with his mother. All I recall about him is that they were caught by ordering Pizza Hut, I think. The judge in that case should lose his seat. Can you imagine a lawyer say, look, he tried to rape a 13-year-old a couple years ago, and nothing was done about, so he thinks he can get away with anything. The best way to teach him that this is not true is to let him get away with killing people while driving drunk. Then he'll learn that he has to answer to his actions. Judge, sounds good. No jail time. I think he did. Judge Aaron Paskey. I'm pretty sure he got recalled. Edit. Yep. Got recalled. Edit 2. This was the judge in the Brock Turner case. Not the Ethan Couch case. My apologies. Ray William Johnson. Used to love equals 3 along with Julian Smith videos way back then. Those were the days. I made this for you. He's getting big on TikTok where doesn't have to worry about copyright strikes. Tila Tequila. She got a major head injury and became a Nazi. Which is some radical character development. She also admitted that being bi was all for the purpose of the show, I think. Can't remember where I heard it. That's what happens when you play the Gathering of the Juggalos and they throw literal shit at you. I'm sorry, what? Slender Man. Especially after the 2014 stabbing. Slender Man is just a modern folk tale. Everyone knows who he is but nobody really cares, just like everyone knows who the Tooth Fairy is. I didn't think it was that good a tale anyway. One of the girls is going to be released soon, first time I'd heard of the case in years. College humor, and the old cracked website with silly articles. Oh, and Stumblupo. They were killed by Facebook. Facebook lied to them about how many views they were getting, which led to them going bankrupt after focusing on making content for Facebook. College Humor still makes some stuff but it's not really got any budget, and all of the cast members were let go but often return as freelance workers. They still do those CEO videos and I think they are still making their D&D show on their streaming service. Man, College Humor, Dorkly and Cracked were my 3 go-to websites for content before I got into Reddit. Cracked was sold to Scripps, a huge media company, who vastly overpaid. To cut costs, they sacked all their staff except for David Wong. They literally came to the office one morning to a notice on the door, "You don't work here anymore." David kept it going for a bit with contract writers, but eventually even he was sacked, after he shut the forums down with zero notice so they couldn't back them up. A lot of the best writers are still around doing their own thing. A few formed Modern Rogue, which is doing well on its own. Cracked had some of my favorite content for years. It was tragic to see it fall apart the way it did. There are several places to find former Cracked writers making great content. Check out Small Beans, Gamefully Unemployed, 1900 Hot Dog, and the podcast Quick Question with Saw and Daniel. David Wong is still writing books, but his latest will be the last under that pen name. It's just Jason Pajai now. Edit. Somehow forgot Alex Schmidt's secretly incredibly fascinating podcast, which feels exactly like the old Cracked podcast with extra kindness because Schmitty the Clam seems like the most sincerely nice person on the whole internet. Jeeves. I have no idea who to ask about this one. Alexa, probably. I asked Jeeves to show me boobs when I was 12. Rip Jeeves and my innocence. Anybody remember the kid in Australia who had a crazy party that disrupted his whole neighborhood and then acted unbothered wearing his sunglasses on the news? Corey Worthington, I think his name was. Was close, Corey Worthington. Writing on his MySpace and MSN accounts, "We told you to cast your mind back." Corey wrote, "Parents away, tell your mates, you don't want to miss it, it's gonna be huge, sick. My nostalgia is kicking into high gear. I'll say I'm sorry but I won't take my glasses off." Why not? "'Cause they're famous. Your sunglasses are famous." Hey yeah. This guy lived around the corner from me at the time. He is still pretty famous for it, like a suburban C-grade celeb. I'm still unsure why he became so famous, but I assume it was the glasses and bleached hair. His glasses are famous. FPS Russia. 2 reasons for this. Quick copy from Wiki. Death of Keith Ratliff. On January 3, 2013, a Kentucky man named Keith Ratliff, the co-owner of FPS Industries, a custom firearms fabrication and testing company, and a member of the FPS Russia production team, was found shot dead in his home in Curriesville, Georgia. 18, 19, 20, Ratliff held a Federal Firearms License, FFL, and was responsible for obtaining the firearms used in the videos. 21. Following Ratliff's death, the production of FPS Russia's videos went on hiatus until February 19, 2013. 22. In March 2013, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, said it was still investigating. 23. However, as there have been no official updates since the initial reports following Ratliff's death. 24. The case has become the subject of numerous conspiracy theories. 25. ATF raids. On March 29, 2013, Myers Franklin County residence was searched by upwards of 40 members of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives alongside officers from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The investigators also searched Myers's father's nearby farm, a frequent filming location for FPS Russia. ATF spokesman Richard Coe said the justification for the search was that Myers was using explosives and getting paid for it via YouTube. 26, 27. In August 2017, Myers' residence was again raided. 28. By ATF and GBI agents. 29. After Myers was alleged to have received 25 grams of butane hash oil through the mail. The Department of Justice prosecuted on the grounds that illegal drug possession while owning a firearm is a federal offense. Myers was arrested for felony possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute, and 50 of his weapons were confiscated under Section 922, G3, of the Gun Control Act of 1968, which prohibits illegal drug users from possessing firearms. He later pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute marijuana and butane hash oil, with all other charges dismissed. 30. On June 19, 2019, Myers was sentenced to 2 years probation and 2 months in prison, which he served later in 2019, as well as a fine in the amount of $7,500. Since his release from prison, Myers has spoken about the case on his YouTube podcast Painkiller already. Lol, dude went down for pot in the mail of all things, after he already had his house raided by the ATF. You've been raised by the ATF, best believe they're looking at all your mail. 95% of Taco Bell's menu items. Seriously, what's going on? For real. I want my empadas back, Taco Bell. I think Taco Bell just went so extreme in streamlining / simplifying the menu that they went overboard. Now most of what they have is just a remix of the few basic ingredients that they have, so most of the food is going to taste the similar no matter how much you mix the same items. Right before COVID hit, someone convinced me to go to a Taco Bell cantina in downtown Chicago. They had a handful unique items to the menu and unique freeze flavors. It was hands down a 100% better experience. Edit, I've gotten a lot of DMs asking where is the cantina in downtown Chicago. I think it's 205 E Ohio Street, but it's been like a year and a half since I've been there. Some people have said it's close while others have said they were just there. Not sure of the actual status. It's more that they take advantage of limited time psychology, but to a fault, so all their good food disappears before you can enjoy it. Though taco and burrito pack is tough to pass up when there aren't specials I like. I'll never forget when CJ's made the jalapeno burger the first time. It sold so well it was a mainstay item within a couple months. After the Mexican pizza got removed from the menu, I stopped going to Taco Bell. Thanks for the gold, fellow Mexican pizza aficionado. I do not understand why, but the Mexican pizza folks are dedicated. They worship at the altar of the Mexican pizza. To them, the MP is Taco Bell. This was true in the 4th grade. It is true now.